While we were there, we did not have a car. There was really no type of public transportation. It was on the beach, but we wanted to go to a different part of this city, to another part of the beach to go to a specific restaurant. So I'm like, man, how are we going to get there? Okay, taxi. Let's just try to get a taxi. This place, it being a tropical island, didn't really have as many taxis as Shanghai, the metropolitan city. And again, we're not in, real populated place. Taxi was a small motorbike, like moped, basically. So I said, hey, man, it's not just me. Your moped's pretty small. It's me and my girl here. Oh, no problem. My Chinese. So where are you going to go? Oh, well, I want to go to this park. Oh, no. I got to get my man. This is crazy. That's too far. That's too far. Okay, well, how about this much when I gave it to him? Nope, can't do it. I know the game now. I'm here on my own. My guide ain't around the corner. This is me. I live here. I know the game, not paying that much. All right. Lowered it down, still with my man. Nope, don't want it. I told you I'm not paying that much. This is what I'm willing to pay. I know it is. I do the same thing in Shanghai. I take motorcycle taxis. Let's go. Oh, all right. Your Chinese is pretty good, man. What you been doing? How your Chinese get this good? Oh, don't worry about it. I live here. So long story short, he's like, look, I'll take both of you on my moped. Let's go. I'm like, but still, man, this is pretty small. He's like, let's go. So not only do I get it for the price I want, I get this amazing once-in-a-lifetime experience to just be on a moped. Pretty dangerous situation, but it was fun. We were young. And then we ended up going to a floating restaurant. Like, in the conversation, the guy ended up taking us to his favorite restaurant. It was a floating restaurant in the middle of the ocean. It was just a good experience, man. So you asked me what I can do for you in China. I can talk. I can get you whatever I can talk to a Chinese person the same way I talk to an American. It's all about the money after that. What can you pay for? But things are cheap in China, so.
All right, and what's a decent amount of time what's the minimum amount of time someone should go to China?
I would say no less than 7 to 10 days. I mean, 7 is kind of cutting it short, so 10. Ideally, on your first trip, 10 to 14.
10 to 14.
But I say 7 is short because you have to factor in the time difference. The time difference is not 6 hours, 4 hours like Europe. The time difference is 12 hours. So at 9 in the morning here, it is 9 at night in China. Totally different feeling on your body. Your sleep may be off on the airplane, but on your first day there in China, you're probably going to fall asleep in the middle of the day. You're going to want to sleep all day, all night, but, the person you're with should not allow you to. So you try to force yourself to stay up. When you do fall asleep, you're going to wake up so early, like 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, and you're going to do this for about 3 days. Maybe 4. So that kind of depends on the person. Some people shorter, some people longer. But that's why I say 7 days is not enough, because you're basically going to lose the first 3 days. And then you're going to try to do so many things while you're there. You're going to try to pack in the Great Wall and Shanghai and traveling and getting clothes made and this and that. And it's not going to be enough. So you got to stay for a considerable amount of time.
Okay, so for 10 to 14 days, how much money do we need in our pocket to actually have a good time? How much money do we need to bring for 10 to 14 days in China to have a good time? We're on a budget. but what do we need to go with to actually have a good time?
I would say if you bought $1,500 with you, you would feel like you were Beyonce or Jay-Z.
Damn. So
now,
let's
you
say
said
we're
in
not
your
Beyonce.
pocket.
Let's
Now,
say
now,
we're Cardi
now, you
B.
said. Well, she make money moves, so
Yes, you do. I make money moves.
You could also be a college student, even a high school student, with not much money and still get by in China.
With how much?
Just a couple $100, you can get by. So when I say get by, you're probably not traveling to different cities on a couple $100. You might get to China and stay in this one city. But you'll be good for 10 days with a couple $100 doing Chinese things. And by Chinese things, I mean not eating at McDonald's, not eating at Pizza Hut, not staying at the Hilton, not staying at, American or Western hotels. You gotta live like a Chinese person. Chinese people are, in terms of money, they make, I would say, maybe 1/4 of what an American makes on average.
Dang.
And they do well. They are middle class. They are well, they're not struggling. The people that are middle class still making 1/4 in terms of amount of money as an American. So you could live off a little bit in China, but again, you have to live like a Chinese person. And here's an example. The time that I lived there was 12 years ago. Granted, it was 12 years ago, inflation, times are different. But at the time, I was making $700 a month, if I had to convert it to American dollars. But with that $700 a month, I was making more money than my boss. I was also, taking taxis everywhere I wanted to go. I did not shop for groceries. I ate out breakfast, lunch, and dinner 300, like the whole time I was there. I got clothes made, multiple times, and clothes that are lasting clothes. Some are still in my closet today. I traveled throughout the country. So I did all of these things making $700 a month. So I lived like a Chinese person. I did go out to clubs here and there. I had some American friends. I did some American things, but for the most part, I lived in the Chinese neighborhood and did Chinese things.
Is hip hop big out there?
Oh yeah, especially now. But even back then, yeah. I mean, you could go on YouTube. So
it's common to go to a club and hear hip hop.
Of course. But it's also common to go to a club and hear anything else, that you might hear in any other part of the world, because there's so many people from around the world in China.
Is Chinese music popping?
Chinese music is popping for Chinese people.
No, for you though. Could you catch a vibe like listening to Chinese music?
If you like music and you listen to enough to, come across something, because keep in mind, you're not really knowing the language, so you don't really know what they're saying. But yes, there were a couple songs that really, caught my ear in the year that I was there. One of which I learned how to sing. So that's something I always...
Wait, what song is that? What was that song?
The song I learned how to sing is called, there's no English, well, the English name for it is called Peach Flower Blossom.
And it's fire.
I'm not going to tell you the Chinese name. I'm not going to say it's fire, but it's a very catchy, memorable melody. And to me, in terms of a Chinese song at that time, 12 years ago, this was my go-to.
His go-to. Yeah, the go-to. That's fun.
Yeah, cause karaoke is big over there. So, as the only American, most times you go to karaoke, it's very awkward because a lot of karaoke don't have English songs. And then when they do, it's like the Temptations, Diana Ross, something old, I don't know. But so to learn a Chinese song and to sing it in front of Chinese people, it will get you a lot of points.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Tyree Powell. This is super, super awesome. I made it a point to not talk to Tyree offline because I wanted to learn this just like you guys are learning this. And I think like even with this conversation, like you enticed me more than ever to actually want to have an experience at China. And then the fact that you even gave us like, yo, if you go to China, listen, go at least 10 to 14 days. You told us how much money we need to have. You said if we have $1,500 in our pocket, we could live like Jay-Z and Beyonce out there for those 10 to 14 days. But you also told us that we go out there with $200, $300, $400, $500. We can also have a good time. We may not experience as much as we could, but we can go out there with that. We're going to wrap this conversation up right now. But I wanted to do this. I wanted to talk about this experience and your experience in China from getting on the plane to what you did before to what you did on the plane. Because I want people to really, because the next conversation that we have, we're going to really get into some business and the business side of what Tyree does. So again, you guys could go to TyreePowell.com. We're going to put the website in the show notes. But we're really going to get into business. I want you guys to not just see this as another entrepreneur that's coming on the show, but I want you to hear from somebody that actually pursued his dream. He went out on the limb. He did something that most people won't do. And that's the type of people that you want to follow. Sometimes it's not the person that you see on television. Sometimes it's not the person that you see on the Forbes list, that you want to follow and buy into. Sometimes it's, in many cases, it's the person who actually went over and beyond and went to a point that most people wouldn't go to. I personally put my money into Tyree, guys. Go to his website, follow him on Instagram, hit him up on Instagram. If you're going to China, you know damn well in most cases, most of y'all don't know people out there in China. You're just going just to go. Connect with him, ask him some questions, see what he could do to assist you. Again, Tyree, before we close this thing out, tell them exactly what your business is. And also, if you feel like it, tell them what your mission is for your business or your vision is for your business so that when we come back next time, they'll be fully acquainted with who you are and what you're doing.
So I'm a young black man. I'm from the hood. I went to college. I've done things in my life, and my mission, my focus, my vision is really just to share the opportunities that I have had to help others, in any way I can, especially with, if that involves passing on anything that may lead them towards opportunities that I had. So in this China situation, yes, I'm helping people, families, business people. If anybody needs to go to China, I'm a resource for that. If anybody has children that want to learn Chinese, I'm a resource for that. If anybody needs any cultural training, job, workforce development, I am a resource for that. And I guess we're keeping it Chinese here, but, web development, that is my, 9 to 5 at this point. But, as we talk about entrepreneurship, China, as you can see, is a passion. And it's something that is, a big part of my life. And that's what I'm trying to share with folks.
Absolutely. Web development, guys. Check him out.